Hey everyone, Eric Burkholder here with Jordan Bradford at Burkholder Wealth Management, and we're putting out a video today just to talk to you a little bit about the recently passed student loan forgiveness. Still some things changing, but we want to at least give you a general idea of what it is, who qualifies, and if it might affect some of you out there. So Jordan, maybe kick us off. Tell us just high level, what happened, what's going on.
Yeah, so at this point, I think everyone's been pretty well aware that Biden administration had about maybe a month and a half ago, roughly, canceled student loan debt, or is in the process of canceling some student loan debt. The big high level points are that, most borrowers of student loan debt are going to receive either 10 or 20,000 forgiven. Now, of course, that number is capped at what you actually owe. So I think a common question is, if I owe 15,000 but I qualify for the 20, do they write me a $5,000 check? And unfortunately, no, that's not going to be the case. So you are capped at what you actually owe. But depending on if you applied for Pell Grants or not, if you do have Pell Grants that you applied for and received, then you're going to get that full 20,000 limit that you're going to possibly qualify for, depending on income and some other factors. If you didn't have any Pell Grants, then you're capped at that $10,000 number.
Okay.
But I think the big question most people have, though, is, do I qualify based on my income?
Mm-hmm.
And that was one that originally the Biden administration came out and said that it was going to be $125,000 for single filers or $250,000 for joint filers. But there was some ambiguity as to, well, what does that mean? Is that for 2022, 2021, 2020? And the administration just recently sent out an update that informed borrowers and anyone that wanted to ask for the update, which you can go on to I believe it's studentaid.gov, and you can actually select to receive the notifications.
Okay.
But in the most recent notification update that they gave, what they indicated was that either 2020 or 2021 tax return numbers are going to be used. And, my understanding based on reading it is that that's your choice. So if in 2020 you were furloughed, maybe you're in a sales position, didn't make as much income as you would have in 2019, or maybe even what you did in 2021, it's possible you can use your 2020 return to qualify for some student loan forgiveness that you otherwise wouldn't have if you had to use your 2021 or even 2022 tax returns.
Right. So very similar to the stimulus checks as far as being able to use, the year that you may have been affected most by what was happening. So
I think the attempt that the administration is trying to do is to get the max number of people to qualify that they can. We could debate whether or not that's a good policy, bad policy, or neutral. But I think that's clearly their goal is to get as many student loan borrowers that there are and get as many of them to qualify as possible. And I think that's why they've decided to use 2020 and 2021 numbers. Right. To give you that option and flexibility. I'm sure the administration's done some research and found that household incomes were likely lower in 2020 than they were in 2021.
Sure. And there sounds like it's not completely set in stone, right? I mean, they're kind of working out some of the details as we go. And so, I mean, what does that look like? Can we expect more changes?
I think at this point, I would expect that there are going to be some additional either updates or changes, maybe tweaks to the plan. There are some lawsuits that have been filed. So, that obviously is a whole nother topic as to, what effect that may have on this particular debt relief. My gut tells me it's probably not going to go anywhere, and that that this executive order is actually going to come to fruition. But nothing is really official until the end of the year. Okay. So in early October, which is basically right now, you are going to have the opportunity to start the application process. So if you have student loan debt, you think you qualify based on income, based on the amount of debt that you have, the type of debt that you have, you're going to get that application really, really soon. And at the time of watching this video, you may have already received that. So you'll have an opportunity to go through there, get all that information in. I would encourage you, if you think you qualify, do it right away. Don't wait until the end of December. Just get it out of the way. I think that's going to be your best bet, just in terms of the influx of people that are likely going to be applying. It could bog down the system a little bit. Kind of like filing taxes. If you can get it done a little earlier, generally your return your refund gets back to you a little earlier.
And I think what we're seeing already is things are changing, and it may continue to evolve, and so. So even if you don't think you qualify, I would definitely, if you have student debt, go check out the website. You said studentaid.gov, is that right?
Yes.
Just get out, go there, and apply or check out the information, because you may end up qualifying when you didn't think you would initially, especially if they change or adjust any of these rules. So we would say, if you have any student debt at all, go out. You need to check it out, because potentially you're leaving money on the table if you don't.
Yeah, and I think no matter what the size of the debt is that you have, I think you're doing yourself a great service by, at the bare minimum, just going to the website, looking up the information, and trying to see if you qualify. It doesn't hurt to look and see. You may be surprised at what you find.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have any other questions, or it obviously gets pretty confusing pretty quickly. Don't hesitate to reach out. We can help you navigate it, and hopefully find you some money if you qualify. So that's all for today. We wanted to keep it high level, because it can get in the weeds pretty quick. But reach out if you have any questions.
Yeah, good luck.
All right. Talk to you guys later.